Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors Academy, and thank you for stopping by. All right, guys, tonight's video is going to be crucial. I really feel like this is something important that we need to have a conversation around. As always, the article is linked in the description box below, and this is one to leave a comment and send out. Let's get this one far and wide because this is important. This is a microcosm of Los Angeles. Now, this is a perfect example what's happening in Washington, what's happening in Chicago, New York, all these major metropolitan cities. We're going to see this again and again and again because this is not going to change. This genie's out of the bottle and it's starting to be a pain in the butt to the gun controllers. Now, let me lay this out a little bit for you just to understand where we are at in the past year. Minorities bought more guns than they've ever bought last year. Women bought more guns than they ever bought last year. First-time gun buyers was through the roof. Percentage of that was massive compared to previous years. And at the same time, you have crime waves going on across all major blue gun control cities. Coincidentally, at the exact same time, the LAPD puts out a tweet that says, hey, make sure you're a good witness because we'll call you after all the violence happens because we can't help you. Also, don't drive into this area because there's all sorts of crime following you home. Make sure you take down the license plate and we'll call you. They basically said, you're on your own. And interestingly enough, that's exactly what we covered on the Second Press a week ago before this article came out. We are establishing a news organization, a media organization that is pro 2A, that is cutting edge and establishing the narrative going forward rather than reacting. This is something that's incredible, guys. The reviews are amazing. I would love to have you on there. There's a free link for 2 weeks down in the description box. Give it a try. If it's not for you, bounce out. But if it is, I'd love for you to stick around and build something amazing with me because we are doing some incredible work. Enough of that. I hope to see you on there. Let's dive into this article because this is crucial. Black LA residents lack access to guns as wealthy rush to buy firearms amid crime wave. Now that says a lot right there, right? Let's keep going because there's a little bit more, and this is a really, really good article. Los Angeles crimes have seeped into the wealthiest of neighborhoods, rocking residents and being compared to a dystopian movie franchise, The Purge. Residents have flocked to the city's only gun store in response, arming themselves as a last-ditch effort for protection, even though the city has a long track record of supporting liberal policies in gun control. Of course it does, it's LA. Hypocritical, yes, but still factual. That's what's happening. And let's dive in because we're going to get to what the root cause here, and this is where it gets kind of irritating. Stewart is the owner of the only gun shop in Los Angeles, and his clients include business owners, prominent actors, real estate moguls, and film executives, with many of them buying guns for the first time. These are the same people that have attacked firearms rights in the rest of the country and in their home state of California. But interestingly enough, they have the connections, the means, the wealth, and the time to go out and buy firearms, while everyone else who's suffering with their gun control policies doesn't. That's where I have a problem. Los Angeles is a shall-issue state. Basically, the government will decide if you can have your Second Amendment right. It's theirs to give to you instead of yours to allow them to curtail. This is not something that is theirs to give. Anyway, I don't want to get on a soapbox too early here, but listen to what else is going on. Stewart says not only are the wealthy looking to arm themselves, it's also people of, quote, every color, every gender, every sexual orientation, and every political belief. Translation, everyone's scared because it's out of control and they're taking their rights in their own hands, which I support fully. I don't like the hypocritical nature, but listen to how it's disproportionately affecting minorities because they don't have the same means that the elite liberals do when they're the ones to put the policies in place. Anyway. Obtaining concealed carry permits in LA has been historically difficult and includes proving a person is of good moral character and that good cause exists for issuance of the license, among other requirements. Completely subjective. Now, this is directly attacking anybody who the clerk says, nah, you're not a good fit, a judge or a DA, anybody that says, nah, it's not going to work out. You can't have your rights, and it's disproportionately affecting minorities because all those guys who are rich moguls and the tech elites, they all get their guns. But you guys down there, you just need to call the LAPD and be a good witness. Do you see how twisted this is? And this is why it's going to unravel gun control nationally over time. Now, an activist, Mage Tour, to other Second Amendment activists, gun control restrictions marginalize black Americans and have historically been racist, dead on. In fact, Republicans tried to repeal a law in North Carolina that says you have to go to a sheriff for the right to buy a handgun. That's 100 years old. The Democrat mayor or governor there, he said, nah, he vetoed that. Yeah. And who are the... Okay, let's keep going. Let's not get distracted. Gun control in this place called America, and this is a quote, was created to stop melanated beings from having the means to exercise their human right, political activist Mage Tour told Fox News Digital. He's right. Historically, there are roots, absolutely. Specifically from the Democratic side of the party, just saying. Quote, all of this stuff you see right now is just that. Quote, oh, we're wealthy. We can just go buy guns, Tour added. But yet, and still, the areas that have the most crime have the most restrictive gun laws. Dead on. Could not be more correct. Now let's talk about an actual black-owned gun shop called Redstone Firearms. We've talked about them before. What'd they say? Geneva Solomon, the co-owner of black-owned Redstone Firearms in Los Angeles County's Burbank, agreed with Tour's comments. She said, quote, the gun control laws here are set up and intended to disproportionately affect those within the minority communities. Specifically, that's around time and finances, means, and connections. She pointed to California's complicated process of getting a concealed carry permit, saying single black parents in the state, for example, may have difficulty proving they have good cause for gun ownership. Again, because the state's deciding if you can do something that's a natural right. Quote, if the single parent is walking home and can't prove that they're important by having money or high-value items taken from them, it may be really hard, Solomon told Fox News Digital. Quote, which goes back to the just cause requirement of the insurance of the CCW. Having just cause is too big of a gray area. That means it's up for the interpretation of the person interviewing you and can lead to underlying bias. That's the entire perfectly summed up reason that we don't put more power in these institutions than they need. They decide when you are in trouble. They decide who gets a concealed carry permit. And that's why in New York, it's against the Supreme Court. This is going to go nationwide, but the main point I want you guys to take away from this is the gun laws established by the liberal rich elites. They can bypass them because they have the connections, the money, the means, and the time to do so. Meanwhile, the minorities that live under the boot of those legislations, they don't get to. And that's the whole point. It's messed up, it's twisted, and that's why we fight for everyone's right on this channel, not just a certain few. That's what I've got. I'll see you on the next one.